Alright guys, this is your boy JM. Today we're doing another video. So this is just a theoretical thing. So you're in your garage and you found this Craftsman LT1000 that's been parked in your garage for 5 years. You go and start it, you put it in gear. It's a 6-speed manual. You go put it in gear and it doesn't move and it starts grinding. You take the transmission out, leave it apart for 2 months because you're waiting on parts. Put it back together with the parts that you waited for, and it still doesn't work. And so you're sitting there and you're wondering, what can I do? Well, this is a video on how you swap a Dana Spitzer 4360/D140 to a Peerless MST206. So first step, what you're going to want to do. The first thing before any of this is you want to make sure your transmission is absolutely destroyed. If there's nothing else. Sometimes I thought my transmission was destroyed, but it was the Woodruff key that came out. When the pulley slides against the shaft, the input shaft, it sounds like it's grinding, but it's not. It's just that there's no Woodruff key. I don't know if you heard that, but that was a very loud screech. But anyways, I can infer you this transmission is destroyed. It's been apart 3 times. I've had almost all the gears in it replaced, and it's not worth it. So online, you go on eBay. Now this is what you gotta do. Once you think your transmission is bad, you must go on there and type it before you do any of this, because you want to make sure your item gets shipped as quick as you can, so you can install a new one as quick as you can. And so first of all, you want to go on there. You want to go on eBay, type in MST206-545C. Now you will probably find a bunch of them that are used. That's what I bought. I bought $185. Or there's one on there. There's a guy who sells them brand new for $300, or I think it's $309. You can go buy that one. It's brand new. You need some of the parts off your old one, but it will replace it. This is how to replace a used one, of course. I'm not going to spend $300 on a machine that's only worth $300. I spent $185 on a used one, a good used one. I bought a Peerless Tecumseh MST206-545C. I'm going to be taking out this Dana Spitzer 4360/D140. So basically, this tractor, I've had it for 3 years, 4 years, whatever, and I've beaten the living crap out of it. This thing has done more lawns than it was designed to do. I babied the motor, but I beat up the transmission in it. I did a lot of over the winter time. One night I just went out on my driveway because it was all icy, and I put it in 6th gear, revved it up to full throttle, and whenever I got on this patch of ice, I would slam on the brakes so the rear tires would lock up and it would start drifting kind of, and then I would immediately let out the clutch and dump it. And I did that for about an hour straight, and so that is absolutely horrible wear on the input shaft. Then I did a 3-minute long burnout with this thing one time at full throttle. I've done probably a million burnouts with this thing. Like literally put the thing right up against the fence and dump the clutch. I've pulled wheelies with it before. If you put it in 6th gear and take the mower deck off, it'll pull a wheelie. Very small one, but if you rev it up just a little bit, it'll pull a wheelie. I have put it in 6th gear, dumped the clutch, and tied it onto the end of something and have it jerk back. I pulled plants out this thing. I mudded this thing. I had water get into the case. I've had water get all the way up to the floorboards on this tractor, so it got in the case when I opened it the first time. So yep, it's pretty much destroyed. This thing I use to mow a lot of my I use the T2400 to mow a lot of my regular properties, and then I have like 2 properties that kind of get occasionally flooded, so I end up mowing a lot of water and going through. And one of my properties is a bunch of trails, back trails where people walk their dogs or ride their bikes on, but it floods a lot because it's over where all the water from the neighborhood goes into. So it floods, like, even if we get a little bit of rain, like it's flooded right now, but that's what I use the LT1000 for. But it's been down for the last 2 months, and we haven't gotten any rain, so I've been using the T2400, but we're going to start getting some more rain because we got some rain last night. And I don't want to drive this nice machine through some deep water. I want to keep this thing for as long as I can. This is a really good machine that I got for $300. I only have $360 into this machine, and it sold for $2K brand new, $2,000. It's 2014 T2400. But anyways, this is about the Craftsman LT1000. So let's stop sitting here and talking and start getting to work. So alright, I'm pretty sure you've seen. Last night I slapped this thing together and see if I fixed it, and I of course did not. Of course you can probably see a lot of things wrong with it. So I have the back plate off, which is 4 bolts. They're right there on the sides. They're very easy. It's like a 9/16 I think. Don't sit there and say, oh, it's not 9/16, because it might be. I'm not sure. Then you got 2 front mounts up here. That's what I keep forgetting every time. These 2 front mounts, that one right there and that one right there. And then you got the tires. So first of all, since it's once you get that back plate off, since it's a transmission that you do not care about, just go ahead and take your Pittsburgh Harbor Freight jack, 3-ton that everybody has, and jack the rear end of your machine up. So once you get it up in the air, take the tires off. If you do not know how to do that, I will show you. Take the little rubber caps off the rear wheels and then stick that in the little groove and pull out on these E-clips. Now, if you can't take these little things off, I would not recommend doing this job because this is a big job to change a transaxle. Then after those, you just pull these tires off. Now, I'm going to show you something that a lot of men who don't pay attention to what they do, a lot of men do that. I don't know. I saw it on a Taro Fix All video, so he said a lot of men. There is okay, it's not in there. It stayed in the tire, didn't it? Alright, so there's a key that makes these wheels move. Because if it's just a shaft like that, you can't, it'll slip. Let me show you. Where's the key? Here's the key. There is a key. If I can get it out. The key is stuck. There we go. See that key right there? The little square key. This is called a keyway. It goes into the little slot right there in the tire. And it also goes into the little slot on the shaft there. Save these keys. Your tractor will not move without them. Do not lose them. Now you want to take off the spacers. You want to take off everything off the end of the shaft, because you're going to need it when you get the new one. Save all of this. Do not throw it away. Alright, so get the other wheel off. Now that you have both of your wheels off, you're going to want to take these bolts off. These are 1/2. I've replaced these so they might be different on yours. But these are 1/2 bolts. There's 4 of them, all on each side. Take those off. Now I have the bolts all loosened, so you want to take, so I like I did, I jacked my transmission up there, so it's still kind of being held up by the machine. But I'm going to show you a trick what I'm going to do. So now you're probably like, alright, let's drop this sucker out of here. But no, we got to do one more thing. If I can zoom the camera in. See that right there? Bet you can't see it, 'cause right there. I don't think you can see that. I'm going to touch it with my hand. You see that? There's a bolt right there. Still can't see it. If I can just touch the lens to it. Smear the, okay, don't extend the lens. Detract. That right there. That is the shift linkage from your transmission to your tractor, from your transmission to the shifter on the side. You need to take that bolt out, and then you can drop your transmission. So we're going to take that bolt out. I think it is a 7/16. Yeah, it's a 7/16. So that bolt is a 7/16 bolt. And that's what you're going to need. So, yep. If you saw my face, that's good. Don't really care. But, so that's what you're going to need. Alright, so now it's finally time you pull the transmission out. So you can just... So what I did is I'm going to grab a little furniture dolly. I bought one a couple days ago from, what's it called, Menards. I set a block of wood underneath it. If I can find where I set the furniture dolly. There it is. So we're just going to move that. Got the Ford Edge. 3.5 liter V6. All-wheel drive. All-wheel drive. Alright, so just get a 2x4 and slap that right there. And then what you're going to do is you're going to slap these those things onto the sides of the board. And I'll show you here in the next cut. Now you got your transmission out. That needs to stop shaking. We need to harvest some parts off of it. So first of all, if you didn't already get it, we're going to get the second wheel spacer and the washer. And that should be it. Now, if I were you, this thing, there's no really way you can part it out because it's already a piece of junk. So if you want, if I were you, I'm going to take the entire brake assembly off of here and brake pads, because those brake pads are kind of expensive and they're not made by manufacturer anymore. So they're so we're gonna start harvesting the parts off of this thing real quick. So go grab yourself an impact or a socket wrench if you still haven't bought an impact yet, like I have. Well, I bought an impact the other day, or not the other day, but got it for Christmas. So that's tighten. Definitely don't really care about those bolts though. Alright, so the brake pads are going to be located one right in the front, which is that right there, and then one behind this rotor. So just pull that off, and it fell out right there. Now there's a woodruff key that lives in there, so that's that. So I'm going to keep these two brake pads and set them up on the workbench. And then you can do whatever you want. You can slap that thing back on there. I'm just gonna do that. I'm gonna put it back together kinda, but with no brake pads, just because there's no point. But like, if you do have any trouble with the MST 206, you don't need that. I mean, I'll put that in there just to be safe, but I'm just gonna assemble this thing just to be, so I'm not sitting here parts I don't need. Okay, I'm gonna need to set the camera down real quick. So now you can do whatever you want with this thing, but if I were you, I would definitely wait till the new transmission got here, and then once you get everything installed and everything works, that should work, then I would do whatever you want to do with this thing, which I'm probably just going to throw it away. There's no point. You can't part this thing out, really, if it's already broken. Nobody wants a Spitzer. Dana Spitzer. It's not. The MST 206 is a better transaxle anyway, so I'm just going to kick this in the back of my garage for now, and then we're going to prep the tractor for the new transmission to go in. And the next time after that, you're going to see the transmission go in the tractor. So I don't know if I'm going to cut this in 3 different videos. I'm probably just going to make one long video on it, you know what I mean? So yeah, so I'll see you in the next one, or next cutscene. Alright, so the first thing that I'm going to do to prep this thing, so there's really only one thing that you got to do. Make sure you have the spring on there, and put a washer on. Now I'm going to put a cotter pin on the end of it to make sure those don't fall off. So I'm going to take the cotter pin that was on there and put it right back on. There's a lot of loose nuts and bolts on there, and that came out of that transmission that we just took apart, or took off. And so right now, the only thing to do is to wait for the new transmission, of course, coming. So we have everything that, I mean, you can clean up a little bit, but I'm not going to touch anything until I have everything done. Alright, so guys, I'm going to see you in the next update on this thing. So part 1, part 2. Part 3 is going to be probably right. So after $185 and 2 days later, we finally got the transmission. So it's shipped to Game Seals and Cools, and I would show you, but my address is on there, and you know I don't want any of your God's fan mail, so I'm gonna get it opened. Alright, so there we got the new transmission. It is a Tecumseh $185 transmission. It is a little bit different looking. I think the wheel spacers might be, I don't know, it's a little bit longer shaft than the Dana, but you know, I think all the other mounts look like they're gonna fit. It's got all the mounts that we need. It's got even the shift link, which I think I'm gonna take that shift link off and put the shift link that's on the Craftsman. The only thing that's wrong with this is this thing right here. It just needs to be popped into that hole. It's just not in the hole. If you see, it's kind of sitting on the side. So we're gonna do that real quick. Now that I got the transmission all good, we're going to slap it in the tractor. So the first step you're going to do is make sure everything's good. Now it may not look like it aligns, but it'll align with the 2 rear mounts. Mine didn't look like it, but then I kind of pushed them in a little bit and it aligns. They're just kind of not used to it. So the first thing you want to do is put the brake line on. The brake, like this thing right here. So take that cotter pin out, if I can get it out, and not lose the washer. And then, see that hole right there? Kind of get it lifted up, I'll put it on there. Now you want to get all your 4 bolts in the back all lined up. All 4 of them. And then you want to crank them down. Next step is you want to get your 2 front mount bolts in there. Now this is kind of a little hard process because you got to lift the front of the transaxle up to line up. That hole has to line up with that hole, and so you kind of have to lift the front up to get it, but once you get it, it's kind of easy. You just gotta get it. And once you get these 2 bolts in, they're kind of like self-tappers. So basically the correct torque spec is, well, when the impact stops turning. So if any of you zip ties and bias pliers fans are watching, mint, right? Also, the correct torque spec on these bolts are when the impact stops turning. So now that you got all your torque specs and everything that's torqued down now to when the impact stops turning, also it helps if your impact has a full battery, because then it'll put out all that torque. You're going to want to hook up your shift linkage. Now you got all these mounts done, so let's go get that shift linkage, which should be approximately right here. So what you're going to want to do is find the gear. I think this transaxle's in reverse. So get up, grab the shifter, and slap it in reverse. Then that should be the correct gear that it's in. I'm not sure if it's actually in reverse. That's just what it's... No. Well, is it in reverse? I don't know. Now you stick that shift linkage thing in there. And then you're going to go find the bolt that came off your shift linkage if you still have it. If you don't have it, you know what, that's fine. They included an extra one. Alright, so here's the shift linkage bolt that they included, because I lost the other one. So that's good. So now that you've achieved the proper torque spec on the shift linkage, make sure your transmission shifts. It shifts very Well, I don't know. It doesn't really want to go into any higher gears. We'll find that out later. I'm thinking fourth is the max. You know, I don't know. Some of these shift linkages are... I think this one's kind of different. Yeah, the one that's on the Tecumseh was a longer throw. So your sixth gear is going to be about third. And then this is neutral, I'm guessing. That's first, second, third. Okay, we'll figure it out as we move. Maybe it's like messed up or something like that. But I think the Tecumsehs have a little bit different of a shift fork linkage thing, whatever you call it, which we can also see if I can get that part to make it more. Never mind that. But we should be good now. Now we can throw on the tires to see if it'll move. So then you're gonna want to put in your keys, because that is a very important part, and your tractor will probably not move without it. So there is something messed up with like the shift fork and all that. I think on the Dana it's different than the Peerless. So you're gonna want to probably go on Sears Parts Direct and find that, and I'm gonna go search that up. But we're gonna see if it moves. The starter will turn the motor over. Alright, so we're in reverse. And we're going. So I'm guessing that's like first gear. So let's move it all the way up to like third. That must be like 6. Oh, it's probably gonna like bang. So that's like 6th gear right there. Brakes do work. I think we've lost a pulley, or one of the tensioning pulleys, because it does not like to move. Yeah, I think we have. So we'll fix that. Alright, so we now fixed that. The pulleys were, a belt came off the pulley. The starter on this machine's going out. Oh crap, wow. So that's like 6th gear, that's way quicker. So that's pretty good. And it's not as loud as the old transmission, which is even better. So, yep. So, thank you. Well, there'll probably be a part 4 just to kind of dial in some loose ends on it, but it looks pretty good. So here's part 4 now. So here's the last part of the video. So I got some tips for you guys what I did to get this thing to work. So first of all, my shifter adjustment on the Peerless one, it's a little more tighter. So everything else you might have to adjust it, but it goes into reverse and neutral. But 6th gear is like, that's 6th gear, so you still got some room, but I don't think that's gonna bug you that much. It's just the shifter doesn't go as far as the Dana does. But if that really bothers you, then you might as well just go buy a new tractor before you do that. But I think it should be fine. It's not that noticeable. I mean, it's literally just a lawnmower. This isn't like going to a car show. And then another thing is that the spacers for the wheels are bigger than the Transaxle, and the mounts all line up, but it sticks out just a little bit further. So usually like the Dana, it'll end right here, but this Transaxle comes out just a little bit further. It comes right here. So what I did was I got a So if your tractor has these spacers on them, you only need one. Just cut it in half, and then put each side on each wheel, and that's the correct amount. It's at least, I think it's a 1-inch spacer, and on the Dana it's a 2-inch spacer. So that's all I did, and then they'll fit fine. And then you can put the caps on them. And then for a little bit, it took me a little bit to figure out that I needed to adjust the shifter. But other than that, everything else on this machine is great. I mowed my lawn with it. And I'm going to put the rear plate on it now. But just watch out, because some of these, especially when you're adjusting that the shift bolt, it doesn't have a bolt on the end of it. These are all like little, they fret in. What they did is they fretted the inside plate, and so there's no bolt, so don't over tighten them. They're really easy to strip out. I mean, extremely easy. So if you can find like some fine thread bolts, just stick them in there and just crank them down from the impact to whenever the impact stops turning. That's what I did, and it works fine. Also, this transmission, I did take the plug out of the front of it. There is a plug in the front. If I could show you, I would, but there's no point in me trying. But I recommend using, what did I get? I went to, I think, Menards, and I bought some, what is this, 8090? I think it's 8090, but I'll pull it out for you. Yeah, Valvoline High Performance Gear Oil 8090, just about 1 quart, and just dumped it all in there. And then I took the battery out and filled it up, and I used a transmission funnel. So it's a funnel with a big long tube on the end of it. I use this this big funnel. See, it's got the tube. But I recommend actually immediately as you put it in there, fill it up, because I mowed my backyard and then forgot that this had a fill plug on it, and then I filled it up with a quart, and it quieted it down a little bit. But I think they're fine. I think the Danas are grease filled, and the Peerless you put oil on them. You can go ahead and probably throw away your Dana or whatever you're replacing if you're just doing an MST to MST swap. If you have an MST and it's blown up, a Peerless MST 206, 205, if you find a Dana, do not swap in a Dana. Just go buy a Peerless off of eBay. They're more common and they're more reliable. That's why I went with a Peerless. Now, if you're going to an 820, that is a grasp and guard tractor. I am pretty sure that is a horizontal shaft drive thing, like the pulley is sideways. I've never done one of those. I've only done a Peerless swap, which is this. This is my only Peerless swap. But everything else worked fine on it. These are good transmissions. I'll probably do an oil change video on this, a gear oil change video. But everything else is good. I got the shifting all fixed, and then now I'm going to install the rear plate. So after a long time of working hard and like 2 days or like 2 months, the Craftsman LT1000 is finally back up for running, and we can go enjoy another 5 years out of it before we have to do this again. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Hopefully I taught you something actually. Hopefully this is an informative video, and if any of you dads have something to say down in the comments section, go ahead and say it, but I'll probably just respond to you. So if you have any questions, just leave it in the comments section. And yeah, I hope I helped you out, and so be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and yeah, stay tuned for more videos.